Good day. Beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. You've been good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you've tuned in consciously and conscientiously to Yai on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy, the ambassador of joy. And we're just so happy to have with us today one of the more interesting people you're ever going to experience. Randy will be with us just a couple of minutes. I want to tell everybody I'm privileged to speak to millions of people every single month because there's over 520,000 people right now tuned into the show because we do good things here. And whenever I mention two words, everybody leans in, opens up and says, tell me more. And these two words are Las Vegas, because I live right here in Henderson, Nevada, just 17 miles from the Strip. Let me tell you something about Las Vegas, and because it's not only about gambling and sex. This place is about energy and about exploring and about doing and growing. But let me tell you something amazing. Take the population, entire population of New York City and everybody around it, the entire population of Chicago and everybody around it, the entire population of Los Angeles and everybody around. Add in the entire population of the state of Florida. Doesn't even equal the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a year. 41 plus million people come through here every year. You know why? Because it's a place where things are happening. And we're talking about happening right now. One of the most happening, interesting people you'll ever get a chance to listen to is about to enter your life. Wonderful Randy Nantz. Randy, please say hello to 528,917 people around the world.
Well, hello, people, and hello, Las Vegas, man. Thank you guys for having me on. I tell you what, Barry, I love your energy, man. And then you led it right into that. And I suppose that's why you ended up there, correct?
Young Las Vegas. We're happy to have you here. If I started telling everybody all the things that Randy has done and accomplished already in his short life of under 60 years, it would take the rest of the show. I'm going to give you 3 data points. Number one, he's a normal man who's led an extraordinary life. How do you like that? And part of it has to do with his service to this United States of America because he enlisted in the Army, the U.S. Army, after 9/11 at the age of 33, which, by the way, is an advanced age for enlisting in the U.S. Army or any Army, right? And went in as a private, and he went on to become a Green Beret, and he got wounded, disabled. I mean, just all kinds of stuff that he's been going through. But we're going to talk we are going to talk today about all of those issues because they've helped shape this remarkable being to enable him to speak with us about something that's close to my heart and everybody listening. And I'm going to tell you the 2 words. And the 2 words are selfless leadership. I want to emphasize the first word more than the second. However, everybody likes the idea. Let's talk about leadership. Okay, let's use Randy's idea, selfless leadership. Randy, stage is yours. Give us an introduction and lead us through.
All right. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm Randy Nantz. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm medically retired out of the military in 2012. But he's right. I joined after September 11th because I was just as pissed off as everybody else. And it was only 2 years to the cutoff. And I felt like I probably should have went in the military right out of high school. And I just didn't do that. So it led me down a journey that, I'd worked in the civilian world, obviously, for a while, and then went into the military. And in the military, the good thing about the military is you go through, just like regular jobs, you run through, you come across different styles of leadership. And you see what works and doesn't work. So I've seen good leadership and I've seen bad leadership. And when I talk about selfless leadership, because today, if you look around, most of the leaders we see, and that doesn't matter what level of leadership we're talking about, people are self-serving leadership, right? And that's what we're seeing the most of today. And that is what part of our problem is, whereas selfless leadership that's somebody that's also there to work as the team. They're not there just to point and to chip away or to give you some little speech. When I'm talking about selfless leadership, that's where a leader that also goes down for their subordinates and helps their jobs easier, right? because making people's life easier is what it's like utopia, isn't it? It
Yes.
just doesn't happen. That's the problem. But we get, and it's the other part of it is we're all under a bunch of leaderships and a bunch of leaders that are self-serving. Instead of serving the flock that they serve, much like, our Savior, Jesus Christ did, we see people that are self-serving, like I said, and it's all about me and what I can get. And, unfortunately, it's just not the way life works out. That always makes it more difficult. It just does.
So let's unpack a couple of things you said here, because I think it's really helpful to people listening. We have an audience that is worldwide, most of the United States, however, worldwide, and it's under the age of 35. So people are listening and saying, well, I don't understand exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to break it down. And if I'm misstating, you'll help me.
Yes, sir.
Most people that are in positions of leadership in any kind of organization, be it corporate or structured in the military, is for self-advancement, not selfless leadership. In other words, if I'm a sergeant and I want to go into become a officer, well, I want to do that. I want to go up through the ranks. And the same thing happens in a corporation. Therefore, it's about me becoming better and making sure that my team reflects me. Now, what you're talking about, I believe, Randy, is making sure that there's a leader who understands that you are the key. You, meaning the people that I am building up as a team, helping you become the best you, because when you're the best you, what will happen is I'll get the benefit. In other words,
that's right. We all do, in fact. We all do, in fact. Yes.
So this is really wonderful. There's a great word called team, and people think they know what it stands for. They think together everyone achieves da-da-da. Well, in Barry Shaw's world, because I'm privileged to be a leader and a follower. By the way, it's really important to understand the dynamics in any situation, whether it's a family, it's a corporate structure, a military structure. At one and the same time, you are a leader and you are a follower.
That's right.
And when you recognize that, now you can step into this place called selfless. So when you have a team stands for, in my world, together, everyone achieves miracles. You see, the miraculous part of a team, you mentioned Jesus.
Yep.
Well, he also had 12 disciples.
That's
and if
right.
he hadn't had those 12 disciples, no offense to him, he just would have been God. You need people going out there and spreading the word and living correctly. So if you're going to do selfless leadership, and make sure you understand that you're there to serve. Service is the key operative word. Is that fair to say, Randy?
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
So here you are in the military and you've been in this civilian life. And well, I'll ask you a question. Is one more easy than the other in order to be able to become service oriented? Is it easier to become service oriented in the military, where you have people around you who depend on you for life and death, or in corporate structure where people around you and it's about business, about making sales or building something?
Well, I would say that I just lost my train of thought. Dang it, and we don't have time. So I'm sorry, just repeat the question quickly.
Yes. Which did you find easy? Not so much easy, but the reality of, is there a place where you could really express this selfless leadership more? Here, people depending on you, life and death.
Between military and civilian, I think it's easier in the military world. Why? Because it's mission oriented and mission driven, right? And then there's a rank structure that everybody has to follow along. So then you realize very quickly, also as a private, it's one of those things you learn as a private, because there's quite a few privates and you're actually doing all the work. But as you see, as it all fits together and the more of you are, the easier that all goes by, right? But I think in the civilian world, you're not really really mission driven, so to speak. And you got a rank structure, yes, but it's not all the way down to the last man, so to speak. So I think that it lends better driving those missions for you to become service oriented. Plus, the more that you help the team, the better that you also rise in your career, right?
Ooh,
Where if you're a cog in the wheel, you don't get promoted as quickly.
So let's talk about heroes.
Yep.
What's a hero?
Well, I know that in today's terms, we use that thing pretty lax, right? The hero could be anything and everybody. My opinion of a hero is somebody that went far and above and beyond their job, and even, put their lives in harm's way in order to help someone else or their brothers and brothers and sisters in this time and day. I believe that, to me, is what a hero, somebody that put others before themselves, basically, in a very moment that most people don't, in a very high stress, very emotional, and very strenuous moment where it's hard to always make the right decision.
Randy, did you see that in the military?
Yes, yes, I absolutely did. From the time, I came on after bin Laden, obviously, but I was after September 11th. So it was 2002 before I got to my unit after basic training. And I was only there for a short period of time of training and going to the National Training Center at the end of that, and then right off to Kuwait and into Iraq. And, in that part of that Selfless, we had although it was a conventional military, and there's definitely a difference between special operations and conventional. I think that, the conventional team that I was with that originally went over the task force was a great officers and NCOs, and one of our first real true testaments of a hero was Sergeant First Class Paul Smith. He was the first guy that got the Medal of Honor for the GWAT for Afghanistan and Iraq. And he was I was in an infantry battalion, and he was one of the engineers that was attached to our battalion. Because unbeknownst to most people, like when I joined the military and went in the infantry at 33, there were people, those infantry guys get killed, right? They're out front. Well, that's part of the truth. But actually, there's going to be some engineers in front of him, and there's going to be some scouts out in front of him. So he was one of the engineers, and they came under heavy fire, and he was able to basically knock that down and save the guys that he was with. However, he was killed during the action.
So Randy Nantz, you saw, felt, witnessed a hero.
Yes.
Most people never get that opportunity in life, do they?
No, not to that degree. No, they do not. That is rare.
On that high note, I got to tell everybody, we have sponsors that love our show, and we wouldn't have them if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. So we'll be right back with more Randy Nantz. We're going to talk about deep, wonderful stuff. Don't go away. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. You're good-looking, so I was looking for and finding good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Randy Nantz, and here's a man who experienced military life, corporate life, and talking to us about selfless leadership. He just mentioned a hero. And everything you want to know is in the show notes. Just lean in, don't write anything down, so you can go back later and look over and such like that, and share this with other people. But we want you to share this with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100, that's up to you. We love that. At least 5. Everybody do that. We can touch millions of people around the world. We want to jump into something right now, Randy, and I want you to emphasize this because I find it to be part and parcel of what I call the military experience. And that is what we call the never quit attitude, NQA. What does it mean, the never quit attitude? How did you see that in the military?
Well, because in the military, when as I mentioned, there it's mission driven, right? So every day is you're working towards some mission, and what that means is, and then in the military, the culture is, mission success is the only thing that's acceptable. Anything less than that is not acceptable and it's unsatisfactory. So the other part we always know, right? Nothing goes according to plan. And life is growth. That's right. And life are going to throw those wrenches in there at you at the most opportune time for the wrench, not for you. And that's where you learn to. So you just have to adjust and keep going. You can't cry about it. Can't bitch about it. None of that does any good. You just pivot and keep moving. Pivot and keep moving, but always moving forward. Because I say infantry tactics, just like baseball and football, infantry tactics apply to life, right? The lessons we learn on football and baseball. But one of the most simplest basic infantry tactic is always keep moving forward, ever forward, because to stop is to die. So always keep moving forward. And that's where that never quit comes from.
Okay. If you've been listening this far into this episode, you've been mightily rewarded. Because what you just gained in these few words is experience for your life. As he said, in the military, yes, even especially in non-military life, because stuff happens. It's called life. Yes. It will always go not according to your plan. But here's the great news. That's okay. As long as you have a never quit attitude and you're always moving forward. Interestingly enough, Randy, in the first opening sentence of the book of Psalms, which is a book that's been around for thousands of years, and people still read it and love it because it's true. Yes. The first opening sentence is, ever striving forward is the person who stands with the Lord.
And I think that's where they originally got ever forward.
Yes.
It's something you hear in the military all the time. They say that, ever forward.
Right. It comes from Psalms, which again, been around for thousands of years because it's true.
It's true.
Things that are true stand the test of time, right?
That's right.
Talk to you about overcoming adversity. Let's be blunt. People who are not in the military think that life is tough sometimes, it gets tough. Well, there are three things you've learned today. Number one, make sure that your life is mission driven. You can have what we call the large goal and then break it down into smaller goals, because you can have a mission that's driven that will last maybe for a week, maybe a month, maybe 6 months, a year. Okay, then there's a bigger mission. When you're mission driven and success is the sine qua non, you will succeed. You know why? Because you're ever moving forward, no matter what's happening.
That's right.
So this is what Randy's bringing. Let's talk about adversity. I'd like you to mention really what happened to you in the military. You talked to me before the show about something called an EFP and an IED, and I mean, really nasty stuff, because this is not maneuvers. This was really people shooting at one another, trying to kill you. Nasty people, evil people. Am I right?
Oh, yes. Yes, you are. Very correct.
So tell us, what is it about an IED or an EFP that made life so treacherous?
Well, when you're on a mission, and we were that night, now we were only on a special reconnaissance mission because we had a mission coming up in next 48 hours. And it was a big one, when we had 23 bad guys on the list. And that is even for the military, for special operations, that's a huge package. 6 or 7 is still getting large, but it's kind of fairly average or normal. 23 is significant. And it's because that's how bad this cell was. And they weren't just killing Americans. They were killing Iraqis. They were doing all kinds of bad things. But they were putting out these things called explosively formed projectiles. And they're a shape charge in the engineering terms. And basically, it was Iran that brought these onto the battlefield, right?
I want to put you on pause for one moment. Randy is talking to us about evil intentions, bad people. And he mentioned one of the worst regimes in the world currently and for the past several decades. In other words, this is not new stuff. Israel is fighting against some of the most wicked people in the world. America was fighting against some of the most wicked people in the world. And it's known as the current Iranian regime, which we all, at least I do, and Randy does, and a lot of people pray, will meet its end soon. And the Iranian people will come up and create a good, wonderful, loving culture. But at the moment, not. They are supplying evil to the world. Is that fair, Randy?
Well, it's an absolute truth.
So here they are creating terrible explosives designed to maim and kill us.
In fact, it's an illegal weapon system. It's against the Geneva Conventions to use this on the battlefield. So these were war crimes, in fact, to some degree. I'm not an attorney. I'm not, in the JAG, so I can't speak to what that is legally. But I will say that they did bring these on the battlefield in Iraq, and that's who did it. And we know this. That was the guy that Trump's administration smoked in his last year in the first term, Soleimani, or whatever his name was, that they're still upset about. He was the guy exactly responsible for bringing this weapon system onto the battlefield in Iraq through his special operations troops that killed 973 service members and wounded probably 3,500 more. But regardless, so this thing is a shaped charge. It has a copper plate on the front, and it's in a cone shape. And when that explosive goes off, it turns that copper, it inverts that cone and turns that copper into gas, and it goes right through one side of the vehicle and out the other side. And it doesn't matter. We don't have a vehicle, not any of the RG, none of those big ones, not the tanks. If there was one that a month before I got hit, we saw one go through an M1 Abrams tank like warm melted butter in a hot knife. And it cut 3 of those service members in half in that one attack. And I know 2 of them died right there, but one of them may have survived. So that's when I say I see it as the hand of God, because, this thing barely grazed me and it took off a big portion of my rear end. But had it been another 2 or 3 inches this way,
we wouldn't be here today.
I would not be here today, and my kids at the time were 6 and 13. So, I would have missed a lot of milestones in their life, not to mention, again, I wouldn't be here today speaking with you, Barry. And, to overcome all that adversity has been a long, long journey. First, it was the pain and the suffering, which was immense and significant and very long lasting. But then I went through, I was dragging my leg around. So I went through the amputations, and I ended up going through 4 of those, but I just don't stop. Overcoming adversity isn't anything different, right? What it is just like that EFP. When it went off on my mission or any other, the plan just got diverted, right? Now things are not going according to plan. So what did we do? We pivoted, and then we kept moving forward. They got me out of there. And so, and through my life, through the amputations, I still train all the time every week. And it's because I'm not going to stop. And I still have difficulties with my leg, and some other issues. But, when I wake up and it's a bad day, I just have to accept that it's a bad day. But again, it's just a little pivot, and then I keep moving forward. I tell the people I train all the time, because they haven't learned this lesson yet, most of them. And they still have this long list of things they can't do anymore. Well, if you're not willing to fight through to get to the other side, you're never going to make it.
Right. Let's keep a list of things we can do.
That's right.
Things we can't do, so we can ever striving forward. And by the way, I'm going to say this right now. We have worldwide listeners, and I'm honored and proud to say, because I've heard from people around the world, whether they're in Pakistan, Baluchistan, Nepal, Congo, Latin America, all over America. It's what we call the American mindset. The American mindset is freedom, free enterprise, limited government, and people who will never give up and fight for the American way, which is built upon freedom, not evil, not coercion, not bringing evil to the world. It's about welcoming and freedom for all. Is that fair to say, Randy?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's what we're here to do, right? It's human nature.
Well, it's the American nature.
Well, and yes, you know what? Because we also believe we can do anything.
Yes, we can.
That's right, because we believe it. That's the biggest trick right there.
Yes, and in these totalitarian cultures, you're put into a box and said only one thing. It's not about, I love what you've been saying here, mission-driven, selfless leadership, always looking out for the other. Because when you do that, I'm going to share with you one thing, and then we're going to have to do something that I'm loath to do, but have to do it. At the age of 9, I was working. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, and school was called off because of a snowstorm, and I went out and shoveled snow. And I used to get paid 25 cents for a week to do chores. And here I come back after 12 hours of shoveling snow at the age of 9. I made $55. I mean,
nice. You felt rich, didn't you?
Yeah, it was great. When I come back now, my father was making me a hot chocolate, and he said, "My dear beloved son," he used to love calling me that. "My dear beloved son, how do you spell the word business?" I said, Business. He said, "That's right." Notice that the U comes before the I.
Yeah, there
Says,
you go.
You take care of the others, the I will always be taken care of. And I think that's what you shared with us today, Randy, right? Selfless leadership, ever moving forward, no matter what the plan is, pivot, go, do, create, because we're here to serve. Wonderful, Randy. I'm loath to say the words I'm going to say now. We're coming to a close in our time together. I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Yep.
Will you come back again?
Absolutely. Anytime.
Number 2, Randy, in 80 seconds, what is your most fervent desire?
At this point in my life, I just want to try to make things better than what they were when I got there, and make the world a little bit better place.
That's a wonderful desire. Very American.
Yes.
And number 3, Randy Nantz, may I give you a hug in front of 528,913 people around the world?
Absolutely, Barry. Let's get on in here. Let
me tell you what hug stands for. Ready? Heartfelt, unlimited, giving. 1, 2, 3. Remember, you're listening to I in Las Vegas.
That's right.
Barry Shaw, the ambassador of joy. Amazing Randy Nantz. I got to tell you something. This show, great guy Randy, not about him. Great guy Barry, not about him. It's about you. Y-O-U. You becoming the best you, because when you are the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Thank you, Randy. Don't go away.
Thank you.